About 17 inches total. And that includes body plus tail. They're usually about the same length, so body and then tail.
You do me a favor.
Yeah.
Could you explain to them what would have to be done to get something started like you did?
Sure.
So we could maybe do something here in the city to help everybody here in the city do what you did in Ferndale.
Right. My best advice is talk about it. Again, I showed you the picture of the 7 dead rats on my stump. And that was one night of killing an entire family of rats, and then I trotted out that picture on my cell phone at every event, including the really nice events that were like the corporate events that my husband took me to. And the poor man suffered through it, but it got people talking. And with talking to your neighbors, with communicating to people, with doing outreach, all it takes, when we started in Ferndale, we had 20 people for the entire city. And it was just 20 people came together after the meeting with the city, found out the city said, we're going to enforce the code, which is good. That's great. But as we all know, they can only do so much. And if somebody gets a ticket and they don't do something about it, what do you do next? And that's where somebody like me, I just show up straight from work in my heels and I say, hey, could I kill your rats for you? I really like killing rats. Could I go back there? Could I see if you have a burrow? Guess what? I'll wipe them all out 15 minutes max. And that's the reality of dealing with people. If you're friendly, if you're not confrontational, we all have jerk neighbors. I have a jerk neighbor. I can tell you stories about this jerk neighbor, but I'm not going to because she has become an issue, and it's just an issue. It's just something that I solve. I just go over there and I fix it. We talk about it. It's not a big deal. I don't make it an argument. I just make it, hey, I see a problem. Can I fix it? Can I work with you? Sometimes they don't want to do it themselves, and it is what it is. But if you're paying, did you say you were paying like $300 every 3 months?
Well, we're still under 3 months, but he's been coming out.
I am so cheap. I am so cheap. And the people who quoted some of the individuals in Ferndale for rodenticide were quoting about $600 for 3 months. I can't afford it. And I have a decent job, and I have a husband who also has a decent job. And I can't afford it, and I won't afford it. Instead, if I'm facing $600 or $300 or even $100 every 3 months, it's cheaper for me to just go over there, use a smoke bomb, or use dry ice. And if it takes me maybe, I don't know, an hour on a Saturday, an hour on a Sunday, is it worth my time? It is, yeah. So talk to people, talk to each other, get yourself a Facebook group, join Ferndale Rat Patrol. I'm on there all the time because, again, somebody's gone a little bit too far down the rabbit hole. So feel free to reach out to any of us on there. Feel free to reach out to your neighbors, but do something. Don't just go to the city. The city already has codes for all of this. They have codes against rodent harborage. They have codes against all the things that promote rats. And banning bird feeders, Royal Oak banned bird feeders, except we're approved bird feeders, and there's no definition for that. So they banned it, and they still have rats. And there's a reason. It's because just doing those little things, again, I'm feeding the birds. I've got grapevines. I have a whole organic garden. I've got tomatoes. I've got a cherry tree. I've got crab apples. I've got chickens. I've thrown bird seed on the ground for the chickens. I've got 2 dogs. I've got all the things wrong, and I even have bushes that are low lying. I cut my grass, though. I do cut my grass. I have all those things that are going on in my backyard, but I don't have rats because I'm vigilant, and I talk about it, and I look for it, and I do it consistently. So if you do that, and you talk to your neighbors, and you get together, form a Facebook group, talk to each other, have a meeting outside of here, and just get it done. Just consider it house maintenance. If you had a roof leak, you take care of that and wouldn't think anything of it. If you have rats, take care of it and don't think anything of it. It's nothing to clutch your pearls over. Does anybody else have any questions? I've got so much information on rats. I'm super happy to talk about it.
Reach out to her.
I will be contacting you on Ferndale Rat Patrol.
Sounds
But,
good.
because I live on a dead-end street. I've been there 55 years. I am going to go door to door. She's my only neighbor that showed up here tonight.
Sure.
And that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah.
You know,
My mother has arthritis. I use these with her. I don't have arthritis yet. It's very easy to use, and you don't have to worry about your fingers getting snapped. It's less effective, but it is easy to use. And since I don't want to kill anything that's a native species or anything else that's wandering around, I use a milk crate over top. So set it along your rat path, so the rat's going to walk across. Put that milk crate over top and put a brick on top of that, and that's going to protect your raccoons. It's going to protect your possums. It's going to protect your skunks. All of those animals actually will hunt and kill rats. We have video of it. I've seen it firsthand. So all of the other critters in the area will help you out. You just have to give them the opportunity. So if you use poison, use it smart, use it under your house, put it in your crawl space. If you have those big chunks missing in maybe a concrete porch or concrete steps because those fall apart, as we all know, that's another good spot for some poison. Just seal them in. It's going to stink. Rats stink. Anything dying stinks.
We've had it.
Yeah.
It stunk for about a week on
Sure.
patio because.
The smell of victory.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Yep.
That smells good to me.
Yeah.
Does that mean I ain't gonna have
Those
one underneath there no more?
those are great spots to use poison bait because if you seal them in, they've got nothing else to do, they can eat it, and they don't become a little poison bomb. And again, if you're going to use poison, request bromethylene. You use bromethylene from time to time. Use bromethylene. Make sure that you go out with your dog. If you have a dog, go out with your dog. Make sure your dog's not picking things up in the backyard. Look for any little blue pieces. Most of the time, if you're using good bromethylene chunk bait that's locked into a box, most of the time it's not going to be an issue. But every once in a while it might. So just be aware of that. Yes?
I just have a quick question. You mentioned raccoons, possums. If we got an abundance of rats, is that drawing the possums in?
Sometimes, yeah.
Because I live in a very neighborhood, and we've, in the last 2 years, I swear to God, have caught 10 possums.
Right. So possums are sort of transient. They don't live in the same spot over and over again, so they're not like a rat. Rat sets
Okay.
up camp and it stays there.
So they're not coming in looking for the
So the
rats?
possums will just wander along.
Okay.
They'll stay in one place for a little while, then they'll wander to another spot. So they'll go underneath your porch for a couple days or underneath your deck for a couple days. They run out of food, they move on to the next
Okay.
place. Same thing with skunks when they're not breeding, they tend to wander. Raccoons usually have a home. But if you see a lot of possums, please don't kill the possums. They are very good at killing rats. Believe it or not, as slow as they are very good at killing rats.
Well, I don't know what the city of Taylor does with them. Do they kill them? I was told they did it. I was told they released
As far
them.
as I know, they capture them and they take them out to areas of the woods and stuff.
That's what I was told, so
As
what,
far as I know, that's what.
that's what I was told also.
Yeah, that's what DPW said. When we catch them, because we have caught
We
them.
have live traps,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have live traps, and they do take them and they release them out.
Because that's what they said, but
area and
what
stuff
they
like
tell
that.
you and what they do,
Yeah, as far as I know,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they do.
all right.
I'm going to tell you two last things. Number one, there are some people who will want to be the sort of hippie humanitarian who doesn't want to kill the rats. And those people are inevitable. Sometimes people just don't want to do it. They see a fuzzy thing and feel bad for it. Remind them it's a non-native animal, it's an invasive species. They don't have any sympathy for the zebra mussels or the Asian carp. We don't need to have sympathy for the rats. Number two, for those people who say we will never get rid of the rats, you're not wrong, per se. Rats are very, very hardy, very smart, and they're survivors. However, there is one place in the world that doesn't have rats. One place, and we're talking about our Norway rats. One place in the world that doesn't have rats, that is Alberta, Canada. And the reason that they don't have rats there is because they have actually formed a sort of rat patrol. They literally go around their border looking for these rats, and they respond to every single call. Every single call, and they will do things like put out poison. They have actually burned down barns and shot the rats as they were coming out. They have gone to a very strong extreme, but the core portion of that program is getting the information to people so find the rats, they know what a rat burrow looks like, they know what a rat looks like, they know what rat paths look like. And they are literally the only place in the world that can say they don't have rats. That's a huge, powerful thing. And all it took was an information campaign and talking about it and understanding it. So we can do the same thing. It's going to be tough, but we can do the same thing on a micro scale. And we can get rid of them. I will say year over year, as I count the rats, like a crazy person, year over year, I have seen from 2016 to 2018, I've seen about a 75% reduction in rats in Ferndale. So we still have them, but I'm seeing less of them. And it's actually becoming more and more effective because there's less of them out there breeding. So as I continue to go around and talk about rats until I'm blue in the face, I go to my neighboring cities and I tell them the same thing so that they can take the same information and they can act on it so I get less of that runoff. Because where there's a void, nature will try to fill it. So we're not pushing them out, but we created a void